Alright guys, welcome back to Mr. Post Frame. This is going to be episode 2 of this build. You can see behind me, episode 1, we covered like how to prepare this. You can see I dug a lot out here on the front side of the building. And then in here in a second I'll take you to the back side. But before we get started, if you guys want us to design you a building like this, or Barndominium, reach out to us, design at Mr. Post Frame. We can help you out. Also, you self-builders, check out our Patreon group where we help other people like you build their Barndominium, build their shops, garages. It's a great community of other self-builders where you can learn from others' mistakes. You can share your build. Check that out. But today we're going to start in on the piers. And in a situation like this, I always like to dig out versus bring fill in. Now, I lost probably 3 to 4 foot of elevation from the front of this building to the back. It's very hilly where I live here. So my piers in front are going to go right into undisturbed soil, which isn't a big deal. On the back side, I probably have 3 to 4 feet of fill. So I'm going to have to make sure my piers go down below that and get into undisturbed soil. So I'll probably take those piers probably 6 feet deep, which shouldn't be a big deal. I have a 2-foot extension on my auger, so that won't be a problem. But we're going to go ahead, get this laid out, get the piers dug, and we're going to pour these tomorrow morning. And just a little update, by the time this is all said and done, I might be living in this because I just told Emily that I was doing this. For those of you who don't know who Emily is my better half. So I might be living in this, I don't know. So we might have to change the name as this goes on to maybe like the doghouse or something like that. But let's go ahead and get started. You guys see this drops off really fast. And so right about here is where our back line of piers is going to be. So it's probably about 3 to 4 feet, which isn't a big deal. And then I filled this in quite a few feet behind it just to give myself some room. Once I get the piers in and get the building built and this settles a little bit, I'll go ahead and grade this all off so it's a nice slope. I have a bunch more dirt that I can bring in and kind of feather this off. I might have to take a couple more trees out. But I'll figure that out as the time goes. The important thing is that my piers get down below the fill so they stay put. And that's what we're going to do. All right, guys, I got everything I think I need for the most part, except for fuel. I need more fuel for my skid steer, but I got stakes, batter boards, all 4 corners. So step 1 is I'm going to set my line across the back because I know how close I can get to that drop off back there, and then I'll just work off that string line back this way. Alright guys, so I'm ready to put my batter boards up, and I have 4 stakes at the general location of where corners are going to be, and that is my highest point over there, and it's about 6 inches higher right there than it is right here, which is fine. So I will set that pier pretty much down to the ground. I might leave it up a couple inches, and then this one will be about 8 inches out of the ground, which is fine because that'll give me room to bring in my gravel. Because one thing, if you notice that's not normal here, is I don't have my gravel down. And the reason I didn't put my gravel down is because I'm expecting this to settle a few inches once we get some rain. But I have time to do these footings right now, so I'm going to do them, let this settle. Then I'll bring my rock in, so I'm not necessarily wasting all this rock. So I might build this whole building before putting rock on it. I'm not 100% sure, it just depends. Might put a small layer on just if it gets muddy or something like that. But I really do want this to get some rain on it and kind of settle a little bit, especially out here. It's probably going to settle 3 to 4 inches, I would guess. All right, guys, I have the building all laid out. So I got this all squared up, and I did this all by myself, so I'll show you how I did it. Instead of having an angled batter board, I use 2. So I square up one there, there on all 4 corners. So I started with that line, measured over the 23 feet 9 inches because I'm subtracting the girts in this case since I'm doing it by myself, it's easier, and lined this string line up. So those lines are running parallel. Then I put in these, and the way I can pull a tape measure by myself is I put these little boards coming off, and that's why I do these at a 90-degree angle. So let me get a tape and I'll show you. So I can hook my tape on that screw. And I measure 3 feet, well in this case it was 3 feet, depending on, I like to have an even number and then add 1.5 inches for my girt. So now I know I can just pull my even 8s all the way across, or same thing with the total dimension. I can go right to 48 feet at the other end, and I know that's the length of my building. So this will be 47 feet 10.5 inches. So you can see right there. And I do that on all 4 corners. And then to pull my diagonals, I put a screw back here so I can run my tape across, and then whatever that distance is from there to here, I add to my diagonal, and then I can pull it all the way across and make sure I'm square. So hopefully that makes sense. When you're doing stuff by yourself, you just got to figure it out. You got to make jigs, things to basically be an extra set of hands. So that's what I did. Now I can mark out all my piers and start drilling. So you got these marked. It's a little bit harder to do on dirt. The dirt doesn't hold the paint as well. Now I'm hooked right there. I'm 2 foot 1.5. So from 2 foot 1.5 back to 2 is my girt. So now I can just pull 8 foot all the way across. It's so dark. Alright guys, I'm trying to, there we go.
It is, I don't know, it's like 5:15 in the morning, and I gotta get out here and get this done because I got concrete coming at 9 o'clock. So the old saying is the early bird gets the worm. Hope that's true. The only problem is we haven't had rain in 5 weeks, so I don't know if there's any worms anywhere near the surface. But I'm gonna dig and try to find a worm this morning and get this done.
Got a little dry. Alright, well, we are off. They were supposed to be here at 9:30. They showed up at 8. Still had 2 holes left to do. Pouring concrete. Burnt bucket was a little dry, so I had to burn my butt off. I think this one will be good. Boom. Alright guys, so I was drilling this one right here and I hit a whole bunch of rocks. They were like, I don't know, rocks like this. I guess you can see a couple of them down there, but it knocked my pier off. And so this one is going to be a couple inches off from the 8-foot on center. The good thing is it's an end wall column, so it really doesn't matter. My 16-foot boards are still going to work. So I'm not that upset about it. I would have been a little upset had it been the side walls. I knew it got moved, but I knew I could make it work, and I didn't want to try to dig this out because there's all kinds of roots and rocks and all kinds of stuff in here, and I would end up making a mess. So stuff like that happens. Even if it happens on a sidewall, there's ways to deal with it. Actually, on a build not too long ago, I had one get moved, and I had to set the truss on one of the side plies of the column because it got bumped over far enough so I could keep it in line with the other side. So anyway, it's not quite a perfect doghouse yet. I'm getting there.
Is that what we're calling it?
I don't know. I'm getting a lot of comments on it though. Got our red line on our string line, and we're just going to line that up with our bracket center mark. I'm just going to look down over the top, try to get it within a 1/4 inch from the line. Before I get it all the way to the bottom, I'll put my level on it and try to get that close. I feel like it's maybe crooked. Just a little. It's just a feel you get, Justin. These are going to set up fast as dry as that ground is. Alright guys, well, it is 10:37. I started my day out here this morning at 5:30, but I got all of these concrete piers drilled, form set. Concrete truck showed up about an hour and a half early. I had 2 holes yet to do when he got here, but I'm usually ready to go when they get here, so they had no problem waiting. So I'm pretty pumped that this part of the process is done. The next step is going to be digging the trusses out, digging all the 6x6 posts that came from this other building that I took down out, and then preparing them. The trusses, I do have to do a little work to them. The 6x6s, I'll have to square off the ends, get them cut to length. See, I'm pretty sure I have long enough ones for my gable ends, but there's a way I can handle that. If they're not quite long enough, I can extend some 2x6s up to the top quarter of the truss, but that's the next step. I'll let this all set up today, get all this dirt cleaned up. Out here, I probably can get some gravel just so I have some gravel to work on. In the back, I'm gonna let that, I'm hoping that it rains in the next couple weeks and that'll settle a little bit before I put rock on it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I don't know if Justin and I have officially picked a name for this building yet. So keep the names coming, and by the next episode we'll have to have one picked out. As always guys, we appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, share us with your friends, and we will catch you on the next video.